the Islamic Republic was enabled to actually carry out a major blow against Israel. That was their objective. But the result was that the Islamic Republic officials saw, like, how the fuck did they find us everywhere we were? Like, even some of the highest ranking regime officials didn't know which where these IRGC leaders sleep at night. And Israel knew exactly every single one of them was, and took them out within very small, time distance from each other. So they realized that their phones have been compromised, that they have Israel has spies in place in many different places. So they realized, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but when Israel attacked one of the IRGC meetings, the you know who arranged that meeting? Is Israel arranged the meeting,
Yeah, the
and they
guy that
didn't
they
know.
executed.
No, no. So yeah, I mean, Israel messaged everyone's phone to meet in a place, and then when they met, they blew them up. So the meeting's arrangement was done by Israel as well. I mean, and it's interesting because they even delayed the bombing because they knew that somebody was late. So not only they were aware of where they're meeting, they had real-time information regarding who has arrived and who hasn't arrived. Yeah, okay. So this is like a crazy details level of information to have. So the Islamic Republic officials are paranoid. They have put all their phones away, and they're not meeting because they're afraid that if there's more than a couple of them in a location, then that would be a great target. So just imagine how difficult it would be for them to manage things. Like, what are they supposed to do? Like, send pigeons, carrier pigeons to each other, like smoke signals? Like, it's really hard to govern, like, within, so that was the result. I don't know if Israel was planning for this to be the result, but this is the result. This is why this is a good. But I do think that Israel didn't attack on purpose until now, because they saw the economy of Iran collapsing, and they didn't want the Islamic Republic to be able to blame it on the war. So we, like, the escalation of the economic collapse was pretty obvious to many of us, and obviously it was obvious to Israel as well. And the past couple of days, the collapse has become much more rapid. So if Israel attacked before then the Islamic Republic could say, like, oh well, we're increasing fuel prices because this is wartime conditions, we're cutting electricity because of wartime conditions, we're cutting water. This is not because of our mismanagement, this is because Israel has forced us into warlike conditions. And I think the Islamic Republic was trying to bait Israel to attack sooner. A lot of people don't know this, but the Islamic Republic was actually wanting Israel to attack so they could blame all of this shit on Israel, and also to make the environment a lot more military law based on, and basically be able to control their own people more based on the idea that we're in wartime situation. So a lot of your freedoms and much more government control is needed right now. So Israel didn't fall for that. Israel waited for the Iranian people seeing the economic collapse and blaming it all of that on Israel, and also not giving the regime the excuse of military control because of war situations to be able to avoid the next round of protests. So I think Israel was waiting for the next round of protests to happen. So if they do attack, all of this shit is, all of everything that is happening, it can be blamed on the Islamic Republic by the Iranian people. So I think it was very strategic. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways.
All right. Now we have Uncle Copy.
Yes, thank you. Excellent. All the things you outlined there pertains to what I was going to ask. I recall you mentioned this was shortly after Assad had fallen, and you reported on a slew of assassinations going across Iran. And these were a little bit uncharacteristic because even the most high-ranking targets, most notably a couple of IRCG judges, would still not technically qualify on Mossad's list. That they're usually not the type of targets that would be worthwhile for Mossad to go after. But it seemed to be very useful for the dissidents. Like these judges were very heavily involved in internal repressions and whatnot, which kind of like here I'm just speculating a bit, but the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh I don't believe the Mossad will be able to pull that off if they didn't have copious amount of assistance by the dissidents of Iran. Like it's very clear, like what you just pointed out, how they're taking launchers over there. They took out the regime officers and so forth without them even knowing where they were. They even called them up. The expansive espionage infrastructure that the Israelis have there is terrific. And so with that, right, like I kind of first of all think the judges that if the Mossad have anything to do with it, it's a favor they return to the dissidents, like a quid pro quo. And on that note, maybe the Israelis may not be providing any military strikes at the moment for diplomatic reasons. It's just not the time for it. Too high of a risk for collateral damage and whatnot. However, given that they do have a lot of operatives in Iran and
Yep.
very well integrated, that does not mean that they could not be assisting on, similar to the drone attack that they did, where they had to smuggle in a bunch of drones and launched out. Well, they can use that for assassinations, for example. And note one thing that was particularly like I thought I was impressed. And I kind of liked it, even though it's considered a bit unsavory. Namely, they called the officers, and they actually released one of these phone calls where they tell, if you care for yourself and your family, you have 12 hours to surrender, film yourself relinquishing any form of loyalty to the Islamic regime. Otherwise, you will all die. Now, this is mafioso tactics. This is exactly what the mafia does. It's actually pretty much exactly the same what the Islamic regime does to the Iranians, which I think it is. That's why I think it is appropriate. And that is also something that, while then during the 12-day operation, the Israelis were operating with, let's say, high quality strikes in the sense that they were using, advanced weaponaries and so forth. Given that they were able to exact a fair range of assassinations, both on not only a lot of mid-level officers, but like I want to remind people who may not be aware, these judges, they were in a heavily IRCG headquarter, I believe it was. It was heavily protected. This is not something, and it's very, very uncharacteristic of the Mossad to be sending their operators in operatives in such a mission. They would not, because there's too high of a risk that gets captured, and then you have a lot of issues. But the Israelis are, given that they have already collaborated with dissidents on assassination, it seems to me that if there was any time to do it, it will be now. Have drones and whatever to launch on the toughest commanders that are hardest to get, and have contingencies available for the protesters. So when the internal security start getting too brutal, start communicating principally with violence, then the Israelis can be providing the light equipment that the protesters would need in order to deter basically frightened. And they will be frightened when they see that drones are coming on, especially if they start getting phone calls, like they get phone calls straight into the commanders, right? We are noticing that you are whipping around your own folks a little bit more than we appreciate. You may want to stop that if you know what's best for you and your family, right? And then boom, they're going to stop, right? And that is good. That's a good way for Israel to get involved without, the strikes. They cause a lot of attention, right? It's a much more subtle way that may actually prove to be a lot more effective because that what do the Iranians want? Do they want a savior? No, they actually want to do this themselves. Like they should be the ones to do it themselves. So if the minimal amount of assistance coming from the Israelis, but it's actually acted on by the Iranians, I think across the board, that strikes me as like the best course of action.
No, that's pretty interesting. It also reminds me of the tactic that was mentioned in Discord, like other than Israel basically sending that message to the Mossad, Iranian Mossad agents in Iran carrying out operations like that. Many other average Iranians could identify the riot police and where they live. That scares the shit out of them if they do that, right? Because a lot of the riot police people are really afraid of being identified, and that shows that they're scared of the people. So if you could find a way to basically have a website where you figure out who they are, put their name there, and tell people to find them, I think that would be very intimidating. They would not be able to. I think, by the way, they look very afraid. The riot police right now looks more afraid than the people, which is very telling.
And you should also, while they're at it, they really should have a doxing list of all the miscreants, but also have a potential amnesty list. Give them a carrot and
Yeah.
a stick. If they do that, that might be doing way more than any Israeli strikes, because I think the message from the Israelis, the kinetic damage they can cause, also through subterfuge in collaboration with the dissidents, I think that's going to be enough at this point for quite a lot of regime folks to, yeah, no, 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 oh no, I'm not working. Don't put me off that doxing list. Please put me on that amnesty list. I will collaborate. I will do exactly everything you want.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And I don't know if you know, but I mean, I think you do actually. You said that Prince Reza Pahlavi has this platform where people from the regime can join his, can join him and pledge allegiance to his cause and movement. And he has already gathered tens of thousands of people within days after he started it, which is very encouraging. And I think the requirement could be that you need to join his platform because he has a very secure platform for them to join. And that's actually a way that Prince Joseph Pahlavi introduced as proof that you are on people's side, so that when everything falls apart, you have that on your record. That at some point you basically joined Prince Joseph Pahlavi's platform.
All
Is
right.
possibly a link in the live chat? Could we maybe have a link in the chat that we could use so we get to the right place? Or maybe Asi knows the, and he could just post a link that we can all go through in the chat
Think of what?
to look on the site you mentioned.
The
Oh,
site I
to the
mentioned?
platform. No, let me see if I could find it.
All right. And in the meanwhile, we have Cat Lady, please.
Coping is really nice to see you here. And about, I think one of the most useful things now is if there will be more videos in English from inside Iran. It can be really good. Um, but just imagine, like, I'm just picturing myself, the IRGC, like paranoid, scared at home, want to turn on the AC, and then he realizes the remote is electronic and he like runs and throws it away. And he wants to make coffee, he realizes the coffee machine has a display. It's like, can you imagine the paranoia they have right now? It really makes me happy. It really does. And also, one thing about the timer clock, the one possibility I see it is if they take over like the square with a clock to count down to Israel, then they do it about something of the maybe Khomeini's life or something. Khamenei, I meant. That's it.
Okay. Ila?
I asked you before and you didn't answer me about what the IDF said in his story. Not the Mossad, the IDF Farsi. What did they say?
I didn't see what the IDF said. I only saw what Mossad Farsi said. Did IDF said
Well,
something as well? I didn't see. I only know Mossad Farsi said to come into the streets. It's time. We're with you, not just from far away, not just with words. We're with you in the battlefield. That's what it said to the Iranian people.
So tell the Iranians that there is also IDF Farsi, and it's all about like how to, because Mossad is
Oh, okay.
something and the IDF is something else. So if
Yep. Yeah.
maybe you have
Okay. I didn't
more.
actually. I didn't even know the IDF also said something to the Iranian people. So, uh,
Yeah, like they have a
send it.
spokesman in Arabic, this guy, Avichai. So they have IDF Farsi.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that. Well. Thank you for telling me.
IDF point Farsi in Instagram, whatever.
Okay. By the way, I love the fact that they have Farsi social media accounts and everything. It's just so wholesome. So yeah.
And now we have Andrew.
Oh, hi, good afternoon or good evening, everyone. This is my second time with this small community. I wanted to offer a couple of apologies because I'm new to the group. I didn't realize that the large part of the focus and debate surrounds a part of the world that's not North America. And my first session, I apologize if I took too much time explaining the Canadian experience.
Israelis are the worst in this. Don't apologize.
We are
The
happy to
other
hear. We are very
part,
happy to hear what's going on in other places.
oh, that's good. It makes me feel better. The other apology is directed towards a woman from California. I believe her name is Deborah. There were two Deborahs on the first call, and I think one was Canadian and one was from someplace in California.
I'm
Um,
Oregon.
Oh, Deborah Friedman. Yes. So, Deborah, the last conversation, I think I should have listened more and spoke less. I did take offense at your comment about Canada with respect to immigration and how bad Canada is off, because that's not my experience. I don't look at Rebel News.
I noticed
Um,
that. You stick to the
yeah.
mainstream media, so I don't really care what you have to say.
No, I don't stick to the mainstream media, Deborah, but I don't subscribe, nor do I listen to right-wing sources like the Rebel News. I have a good understanding of our country from other places. But
You
Deborah,
said
what
you
I
just
did want to say,
that you only watch CBN, which is far left. So I'm sorry, I
Deborah,
don't really care what you have to say.
Deborah,
Your apology is not accepted.
Deborah,
that's fine, Deborah.
the guy's pulling out the peace pipe. Relax. He's trying.
So Deborah, if you don't want to accept my apology, that's fine. That's totally up to you. I do, however, if it did create discord within the rest of the members, Deborah, I am offering an apology. You don't want to take mine, that's cool with me. And that's all I have.
No, we got it. We got the, but we understood. You froze for a while, but we understood the last point you were making.
I have about 30 seconds that I missed. That's it.
All right.
And I froze again.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew.
All right.
Can I say something for 10 seconds, please?
10 seconds? Yeah, 10 seconds.
I recommend for everyone, no matter what your political opinion is, to always listen to someone you disagree with as well as listening to people you agree with.
All right.
Okay. So, do you have anything else to say, Mossad? Because I see that I'm empty, actually.
No, actually, no. I had a phone call, so I wasn't listening for a while. So I'm kind of catching up a bit. So I'm just listening for a
Okay.
while.
So I will rant a little bit, if it's okay. I listened to what you and Coping were discussing about, and I think that about the Iranian people need to pull it off. And yeah, I mean, certainly some of the things they need to pull it off. But I think all I'm saying is, like, gentlemen, don't over romanticize it. Okay? It's a revolution, it's exciting, but we're not in this lefty game. If there's a chance to get the bad guy, you say thank you, and the bad guy is gone. To bring the people to a closure, they need to shake him before and yell at him in a turn. And no, don't over fetishize it. Just, let's get it over with, is what I'm saying. We're on a good roll, and it doesn't matter. Let it play out. And if a missile just so happened to find him in the middle of the night, so be it. I mean, let's just wrap it up. I mean, the real is dropping. We have shit to do. That's what I'm saying. And I think that also, as an Israeli, I will say it, I think, and Jewish, I am entitled more than anybody else in the world to rue and to praise this thing. I think that the Iranian people, both them and the Jewish people, have suffered long and hard enough, and the Middle East has suffered instability that is tearing from one side of the freaking desert to the other side of the mountains and the sea and the river and whatever you want, whatever metaphors you wish to stick in there. And all I have to say is that I have a small gesture that I prepared because I love and I appreciate the Persian culture and heritage. I improvised that this is my little black flag that I decided to raise in this day. Armin can explain to you what the black flag means. And I will stay with this flag up until your people are free, because then our people will be free together in the name of righteousness, in the name of peace, and in the name of Cyrus the freaking Great. Let's go.
Oh my God, that was powerful. Wow, thank you, Essie. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, amazing, amazing. I hope to see that day one day. Oh, look at all the hearts. I don't know how to follow that up. That was powerful. Oh, you're making me cry.
I have a suggestion as well. There
Okay.
is a place where the Iranian embassy, they bought land before the revolution. It's here in Tel Aviv. And when the time is right, we can go celebrate there. And even before, we can go interview. There is like a kids garden there. No building is allowed to be built in this territory, waiting for the Iranian embassy.
So I had a suggestion on my Persian channel, which Iranians loved. I know some of you are not going to like that, some of the anti-BB Israelis, but just let us have some fun, okay? We have in Tehran, there's a Palestine Square, and I suggested that we rename that square into Israel Square, and then we would put a statue of Netanyahu in the middle of it, just to piss off the anti-Israeli remaining people in Iran. And then we will, because we cannot go and arrest the anti-Israelis for just being anti-Israelis, because we have freedom of speech, we will just put the Netanyahu statue in the middle of the square as bait, and we will have cameras there, and we will just let it stay there for them to come destroy, and then we will just keep arresting them for destroying public property, and we will keep rebuilding it for them to come destroy and then arrest them again. We should put Israel flags and statues everywhere with cameras so that we could arrest these people for destroying public property. So I don't know, a lot of people thought that was a genius idea. That was a trap. So, but yeah, we should have Israelis come to Iran to go to Cyrus's tomb. I think that would be imagine one day around Cyrus's tomb we have Iranians and Israelis with Iran's flag and Israeli flags all celebrating together all around Cyrus's tomb. That would be it. Imagine that. I don't know, Israeli flag next to Cyrus' tomb would look so powerful because it was, I don't know, because it was Cyrus that made Israel possible at some point in time. So yeah.
Yeah, you
Can
guys really
also
need
take
to you need to take the cylinder back, you know.
exactly. After
Yeah.
you just took the words out of my mouth, I wanted to say we need to do like the cylinder, Cyrus cylinder. Asi, you're great in this. You're just reading my mind.
Yeah. I went and
Shmuel,
saw the cylinder.
sorry, we're saying?
No, I just said I visited. I visited the. You know, every when you go to the British Museum in London, the main piece that people want to go see is the Rosetta Stone, right? But Iranians, when they go to the British Museum, they all go to Cyrus's cylinder. That's the main. That's the part that they want to go see. So yeah, Jews should go there as well. That should be the main thing that Jews go to visit as well. If you're ever in London, make sure you go to the British Museum. It's the largest free museum in the world, so you don't have to pay anything to get there. And make sure you go visit the Cyrus Cylinder part.
That it's important. This cylinder. I grew up in a religious school which didn't teach all history, like only some parts that matched more. And there was like a lot of time dedicated to reading this statement of Cyrus and
Really?
explain every word and like stuff. Yes, yes.
By the way, if you do visit the solar cylinder, make sure you look at the wall next to the solar cylinder as well, because they have some of the stones from Persepolis on right next to the solar cylinder. And what you notice is that the people who are bringing gifts to Cyrus, you can see their differences are being celebrated, because Cyrus was somebody who didn't want to force, unlike all the other emperors, he didn't want to force one way on all people. So the purpose of that stone carving is to show that all the people who celebrate the king, they look different with their own cultures, with their own religions, with their own food, with their own tradition, and they are okay the way they are. They're celebrated the way they're, like, usually before Cyrus, the only customs and traditions that was celebrated was the one of the empire. But Cyrus was somebody who was celebrating the diversity, multiculturalism done right, not the one that they're doing it today. So not the one that we're doing today. Yeah. And the Cyrus Cylinder is considered to be the first declaration of human rights in history by many.
Okay, and we have Shmuel, Dajjal, and Uncle Copying.
Oh, I was going to say what Armin said earlier about Jews and Israelis going to visit Cyrus's tomb after the regime collapses and rejoicing there together, and having Jews read from the Old Testament, the many parts where Cyrus is mentioned. And yeah, my friend Nari, who's in the chat right now, she actually introduced me to this whole community. We were talking about that yesterday, and so it's cool to hear that be brought up here in the community in the chat right now. But Armin already said it, so yeah, thanks.
Oh, Nara introduced you here?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you, Nara, for bringing. I'm going to make you a premium member, by the way, Samuel.
Thank you very
switching
much.
you to premium. Yeah, you're welcome. So now you have access to our premium calls as well.
Fantastic.
So come more often.
I'd love to.
Thank you.
Where are you speaking from, Shmuel?
I'm in Rhode Island right now, where I grew up. I go to law school in Virginia, but I'm on winter break.
Okay.
Rhode Island, yeah,
Nice.
USA. Yeah.
Nice.
And Sam and I have never met, but we bonded after October 2023 and with Iran and everything.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think we met on a Facebook meme page, didn't we? And we were shitting on the pro-Islamists in that meme page who were getting all offended at the anti-Islamist memes. I forget who messaged the other first, but that's where we first established contact, because it was a recurring theme of both of us just destroying these idiots in the comments who were very clearly supportive of Islamism. So,
Can I ask you if you're related to Yaki and Dina Foyer in Portland?
I am not related to them.
Okay.
No.
I know it's the usual Jew question. Do you know these people? Sorry.
Is their last name spelled the same as mine?
No, they've got a U in there.
Okay. Yeah. Nope. Definitely not.
But I know spellings can be weird because like my family's names changed the spelling when they came to the States. So, I never know.
Right.
Thank you. Sorry.
Jewish geography. Got to do it. Can't not do that. Totally get it.
Okay. And Judeo-Palooza end. And now we have Dajjal.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting day, hasn't it? Anyone else notice that Trump and Netanyahu were wearing the same suit, basically?
They're merging, slowly merging.
I think they bought it together. Like me and my cousin, when we were 12, we used to coordinate outfits from the same store, like best friends that want to look like each other, like twins.
Now I have both of them in my head with the song "Girls Just Want to Have Fun Shopping for Ties."
It must be ordered from the same shop. It couldn't be by accident or even like to coordinate the shade of the tie into this measurement.
I picked it.
Yeah,
Trump is the best troll on earth.
What did you say, Dajjal?
I just thought that was funny. I saw a lot of people commenting on it. People were pretty pissed off, by not just the visit, but the fact they were wearing the same suit, and people. Seriously, they're wearing the same suit now. They really didn't like that. That means they're they're getting closer, and Trump was been heaping praise on the guy, like they were getting along great. Everybody hates that, which just makes it funnier. I know he's giving Israel permission to strike when they see fit. That's a good sign. Hopefully they'll do it. It needs to get done. I'm with Aussie. Just get it done. If you got the opportunity, get it done and get it over with. We've had enough of this shit. Just fucking kill these guys and free Iran, and let's be done with it. I was going to say, Andrew Coster, got a question for you. What about Rebel News do you not like exactly? I'm just curious.
I turned the microphone on here. Thank you
Yeah.
for your patience, as I'm an idiot when it comes to this stuff. Well, I have always been politically and socially on the left. Growing up in a working class neighborhood in Winnipeg, populated by people who were Slavs, myself, and Jews. It was a very dynamic, progressive, working class neighborhood. And I've always been that way. Rebel News to me represents a sort of a reactionary type of publication and attitude that I have no time for. For me, it's all about making the world a better place. Rebel News doesn't kind of satisfy that, in my view. It was very interesting the other afternoon when I questioned what are American values. 2 or 3 people chimed in and talked about the rights of individuals and liberty and these kinds of things. But nobody mentioned community, which I found interesting as I was thinking about it, that the people who responded didn't see community as part of the values of their country. And for me, it's all about community. I mean, we are a community right now. So that's I guess that's why I have no time for people on the right, like the guy who runs Rebel News. I can't remember his name. I can see his face now.
Tommy Robinson. So you're talking.
I'm sorry.
No, it's
Tommy
Ezra
Robinson.
Levant, isn't it? Ezra Levant.
Oh yeah, him
Dijal,
too.
your audio is hard to understand. That's why we're having a hard time.
Isn't it
Yeah.
Ezra Levant?
Yeah, right. I got you. Yeah.
By the way, Dijal, it's really important that you fix your audio. Like it's really ruining. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so I agree. I got the microphone. It wasn't working. I had to send it back. I'm actually traveling right now. I'm in a hotel room. I'll do it when I can. I promise.
Okay, so by the next call, please have it fixed, okay? Because it's really hurting the views on the video.
Yeah, I'll do that, or I'll just lay low next one. I promise. Either way.
It's Ezra Levant, the guy who founded Rebel News. Ezra Levant.
Well, you talk about community. Immigration, all that. So I guess he's got no problem with the fact that it's destroying your fucking country and the West at large.
No. It's not. It's.
I don't see that in Canada.
You don't see that?
I can't speak to the European situation nor the American situation, but that's not, our country is not being ruined by immigration.
Gentlemen,
Our country is being
okay.
Our country is in jeopardy right now.
Bullshit. I've seen never lose against
Guys, we do want this group to be open to disagree. Just 1 second, guys. We do want this group to have some healthy disagreements here. So let's make sure that we can be welcoming to people who might not share the same values as the rest of us, because that's actually will make our group stronger, so that we could actually discuss these disagreements in a polite,
especially when it's so polite,
respectful way.
I got it.
Okay.
But he said he's got no time. He's got no time for that. Well, I mean,
he doesn't listen. I don't think that this line of it's not very productive. Basically, he doesn't like the newspaper that you are pointing at. He doesn't like it. It's his right. You can try to convince him why he should read or listen something else. But you can. But I mean But the way that it carries itself, it's not helping.
It's just because of men like him that Western civilization is dying. So
Okay, well, I'm dying as well. I'll probably be gone before you. So.
I'd say because Andrew is presenting his arguments very nicely. I don't think there's a point shouting at him.
Right. Okay. We have a list which I'd like to go to. So now we have Uncle copying, please. And after